Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. I'm Topher. I'm a fan of craft beer, but I'm also on a limited budget, so I started this channel to prove that it was possible to enjoy good quality beers without having to break the bank. And so on this channel, I try to demystify craft beer and break through some of the elitism that surrounds it. And therefore, I'm always looking for the best deal on beers. And I'd say today's selection, I got a pretty good deal on. I paid only $3.67 for this pint can of Underdog Hazy IPA from Lead Dog Brewing. And despite the fact that Lead Dog is just up the highway in Sparks, Nevada, I have no experience with Lead Dog Brewing. I've never had anything from them before. The Underdog Hazy IPA has I believe it's 7.2. Yeah, 7.2 ABV. Typically, American IPAs come in between 5.5 and 7.5. So it's actually kind of boozy on the scale and has 35 IBUs. Typically, American IPAs come in between 40 and 70 IBUs. So it's actually a little low on the bitterness scale. Hops used in this were Calypso, Galaxy, and Yukonaut. I do not have a brewed on or a packaged on or a enjoy by date, but I don't think it's particularly old. And the reason for that is I have zero friends who have tapped in on this beer on Untapped. 398 of us have checked in, giving it a average score of 3.85, not bad. And Beer Advocate has only had one check-in, one ranking of it, giving it a score of 3.86. So very similar scores between Untapped and Beer Advocate, and not even a total of 400 rankings between the two of them. So, as I say, when you see rankings with that few in number, it's a pretty safe bet you're dealing with a spit it out a fairly new beer. Uh, Now, when I went to the website Lead Dog Brewing, clicked on, you can go to their beers, you click on each beer. Man, there was nothing there. I mean, okay, you could actually click on a link that led you to this beer. But in terms of description, nothing, man. I think there was actually more here on the can because it lists the hops here on the can. I couldn't honestly find anything germane to this beer. Usually there's a little story behind it. Here's, what inspired us to make it. Here's how we did it, blah, blah, blah. Nothing, nothing. So it was actually kind of funny. And then I thought, okay, and then they end up with one of the, I've got to assume this is a pretty standard, label that they didn't go out of their way for this particular beer. But anyway, so there you have it. Those are the ins and outs. I don't have anything to base it upon. I don't have any more information to give you. As I said, I paid $3.67 for this. That was part of an Instagram deal from Liquor Lineup. Liquor Lineup is located on Losee Road in North Las Vegas. If you are in Vegas, you should definitely check out Liquor Lineup. Uh, they have great deals. They have great selection. I am not paid to endorse them by any stretch of the imagination. Not at all. In fact, I paid them $55 for 15 beers, an arrangement I made with them. And so each of my beers was $3.67. One thing I am noting on this beer real quick before I pour it, I want to make sure to point out, is the independent craft. So therefore, I know I'm dealing with a true craft brewer. When you see that, you know that you're dealing with a true craft brewer. Just because it's not there doesn't mean you're not dealing with a craft brewer. But wow, that is some serious head on that. That just came out really, really heady, and I knew it was going to come out that way because honestly, as I um, as I cracked open the can, I could see the foam coming from it, and that's why I poured such a small amount because I knew I was going to get a super duper head on that. And guys, what you're seeing is about I'd say a good 2 shades darker than the actual color of this beer, much much darker. Not anywhere close to as hazy as I was expecting, but I'm going to describe that as high carbonation, not even medium high carbonation. This is like Pilsner type carbonation. That head is actually fairly resilient. I mean, I don't see, okay, now I see it. Yeah, bubbles are popping pretty quickly. So I'm going to describe that as semi-resilient. Let me give this a quick beard wipe, see what I encounter. Smell a lot of hops, that's for sure. Let me put my schnoz in directly, see what else I can find. Hops, sort of a fruitiness, a very soft, mellow sweetness. I'm thinking, actually, picking up on some of the malt profile in this. Yeah, definitely picking up some of the malt profile. I'm getting sort of an orange cream bouquet. I am using my Tenaya Creek, and you can't make this out now, but this actually is a Tenaya Creek IPA glass. Uh, Another shout out to the Creek, man. The Creek Geeks, hashtag the Creek Geeks LV. Love Tenaya Creek. That's another reason. Well, when I drink a Nevada IPA, I try to drink it out of this glass in particular because it's a Nevada IPA glass. So anyway, we've discussed the beer in great detail, the color, everything else. I think it's time for me to start drinking. Cheers. Okay, first impressions. Slight alcohol burn at a 7 point, what was it, 7.2? Yeah, 7.2 ABV. That's not altogether surprising. Not overly bitter, as 35 IBUs actually is 5 IBUs lower than the low end of the scale at 40. So that's not altogether surprising either. There's a slight hoppy bitterness to it. Um, hmm. Uh, hmm. Well, there's not a whole lot to say about this beer, quite honestly. It's an IPA. It's an IPA with hoppy bitterness. There's not much more to it in depth of character of the beer other than that. Not much in the way of a mouthfeel to describe. As I said, it's kind of a low mouthfeel, not a lot of spikiness to it. There is a slight alcohol burn, a little bit of hoppy bitterness. Yeah, frankly, I can see why they didn't bother explaining this beer because it's not worth really going into great detail about. Um, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give the beer a 2.5, and the fact that it came in a can, it's going to get that extra 0.25, so it's going to get a cumulative score of 2.75. Not impressed with this beer at all, and when it's local and here in Nevada, Vegas and Vegas and Reno, despite being a 6 to 8 hour drive, depending upon weather conditions, apart from each other, are considered local. Um, but this is not good beer, and I'm not enjoying this. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure I'm going to finish it. So anyway, I think 2.75 is plenty for this beer, and that's exactly what it's going to get. Well, guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.